We're coming to you from the furthest reaches of a galaxy far, far away. Welcome to the Outer Rim Podcast, a show from a dad and daughter duo that's looking to explore the characters, lore, and stories from our beloved Star Wars. I'm Matt here with Madeline today, and we're reviewing the final episodes, Madeline, the final episodes 9 and 10 of Maul, Shadow Lord. If you're out there listening to us, first of all, we want to say thank you, but also help grow our show by following us on Apple and Spotify, subscribing on YouTube, and you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter. We're always cutting up Madeline's hot takes and putting them out there on the internet for people to consume. We're glad you've joined us, and as always, may the Force be with you. Madeline, it's almost the end of school. How are you?
I'm doing good. Very excited that it's almost summer and that school's almost out.
Woo! Are you actually going to go outside?
Yeah. I'm always outside tanning.
Okay, girl, get that tan on.
Just because I'm pasty right now doesn't mean I won't be tan later.
Whoa. Nobody said pasty. You said that. Nobody brought that up. Nobody said that.
But I did. I am pasty.
I just want that on the record. Nobody brought that up. Nobody said that. Okay.
I know.
Madeline, before I ask you your overall feelings about the 2 episodes we just watched, let me first ask you your overall feelings about Maul, Shadow Lord, the show being over. How are you feeling?
I think it needs a season 2 immediately. That's literally the first thing I said after it was done. I was like, okay, season 2 when?
Okay, listeners, you heard it here. Slow burn Madeline. That's what I'm going to start calling you. Slow burn Madeline on this podcast. Takes you a while to warm up, then you get fired up. There was a specific moment, and I'll call it out while we're podcasting, that I thought you were going to fall off the couch and cry when it happened in the episode. And then I just learned on the way driving home from school today that you are already rewatching this show with your sister, who also loves Star Wars, who has not seen it yet. So you're already in the rewatch vehicle. Is that feeling good for you?
Oh, yeah. Well, she never watched it in the first place, so I was just like, okay, you need to watch this. So I'm just forcing her to watch it with me.
Look, all of our followers need to know our original plan for this was to be a dad and 2 daughters, but there's only one that will get on. So just shouts to our other daughter for not getting on. Now she's watching Maul Shadow Lord. Okay, enough about her. Tell me about Maul. Give me your opinions specifically on these 2 episodes.
It was great. Just absolute cinema.
Chef's kiss, perfect,
Yep,
great.
It was just immaculate the way it was done and all tied together. It was just
I also love the last 2. You know when something's really good when you lose the ability to speak your native language. And so it wasn't an English there at the end. It was just a noise, and that was good. I love the last 2, and I just want to take a second to shout out the animation style here. I think they did a great job. We've already talked about this a little bit on this podcast, but I think there are certain shows in Star Wars specifically that are really better as animated because the action and stuff like that. I feel like you can just get more. Like, we love a live action Obi-Wan and Anakin fight. We love that. But there's something about these fights and their ability, to animate them instead of act them with people that I really do like. I also appreciate that this is more the Clone Wars style and less the Rebels style.
Yes,
I love the Rebels. Yeah, go ahead.
It's a little bit of a mix of the 2 because it's a little bit different than the Clone Wars style. I feel like.
I think it's just you think it's just kind of updated, like the tech is better and newer. I don't know much about that, but that's kind of what I'm wondering. Okay, before I give you listeners the 3-minute review of the 2 episodes, I think we'd be stupid if we didn't just talk right up off the top of the episode. Madeline, what do you make of Devon's big choice? Let's clarify it for everybody. Devon is Darth Maul's apprentice. The way we understand it, at the end of season 1, Devon went bad. She became a bad guy.
I think we all knew it was going to happen, though.
Did we? Did we know that?
I kind of felt like deep down she was going to eventually turn to the dark side and go with Maul, especially.
That's just because you love some Maul.
Oh, yeah. You know I love our boy
Look, there's
Maul.
one prediction that was right. You know whose prediction was right? Me. That I said that Vader would be fighting Maul in the duel, and then he popped up in that episode, and I was like, boom.
He didn't even have any lines, and he was still aura farming. Had 0 lines, just standing there in complete silence except for his mechanical breathing, still aura farming.
Aura farming.
Still just straight aura.
So tell me about it. You're okay with Devon joining forces with Maul? You think this is going to have good outcome for her?
I think they were like foreshadowing it all along, so it does feel more okay that she turned. I think we need some more of like Jedi turning bad because just like
Oh my gosh.
we
Go ahead. Why?
just need more of it. We just need more of it because we're so used to Jedi being like all high and mighty and all light side and everything, and we barely get any Jedi turning evil. Like the only Jedi turning evil thing we have pretty much is Anakin turning into Vader.
Seems like a big deal.
Well, yeah, obviously, but like we need more. We need more.
Okay. Well, you're really letting the darkness out of your soul here for all of our listeners. I don't know if they love it or they hate it. I feel split on the Devon thing. I love it for the drama. I understand why it happened, and we'll talk about more here as we go into the episode. But I hate it for the unanswered questions. And at least as of right now, I don't know that there is a plan for a season 2 because ultimately I don't want Devon to be bad.
Yeah.
I understand she's going through a rough patch. I understand the appeal that Maul has. I totally get it. I also like Maul, but I don't want people to be like Maul, even though I do appreciate him as a character. So I don't like it for the unanswered part, but you're right. Hashtag make Maul season 2 happen. Let's get it going.
We need more.
Crank it out, write the plot, let's get it going.
Because you can't just end on a cliffhanger like that and then not have a season 2. Like, what do you mean? We need more.
That's very frustrating. Very frustrating. All right.
We just need more.
Listeners, I'm going to give the summary of episodes 9 and 10. And as we've been doing, I think Madeline's just going to have to... This might just have to be something we permanently do. Like when we do a movie, I may just have to give the summary. Except at some point, you're going to give the summary and I'm going to grade you.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it'll just be like school. It'll be great. Okay.
Obviously.
Dryden Voss and Maul cut a backdoor deal for Voss to be the head bad guy bro. Maul drops a location pin to Devon in a dream to set up a meeting. On the way, Daki questions why an adult Dathomirian Zabrak is talking to a teen Twi'lek girl in her dreams. Backs against the wall, the good guys throw in with Maul and his baddies to escape as the whole Brady Bunch takes the single slowest trip ever over the acid that anyone has ever taken ever. The 11th bro and Green Gas Maruk track them down and fight them by the acid. Spybot goes down, gets cut in half. Icarus flew too close to the acid, but the characters who actually matter made it out. Where they run into... Dun, dun, dun. Is that the Imperial March I hear? Anakin Skywalker, a.k.a. Darth Vader, is on the scene. Vader forgets how to speak, but is just terrifying. One arm hacks at them all the way through some kind of weird ruin on the planet. The heroes and anti-hero are split up multiple times and nearly die 16,000 times. Daki pushes Green Gas Maruk off a cliff, but gets got by Big Annie. Lawson sacrifices himself to save Riley. Devon gives in to her anger as they escape a never-give-up Darth and agrees to become the apprentice of Lord Maul. OMG! Okay, grade it. How'd I do?
Yeah, that's an A.
Oh, I called him Big Annie and not Little Annie.
I feel like that energy really got it going there.
It had to. Darth Vader showed up.
Yeah.
Vader showed up.
Completely right. And honestly, whenever he showed up on screen, the way we both looked at each other, we were like, oh crap, it's about to get real.
It is about to get real. Okay. We'll talk about Darth and his fight as we go along. We need to remind all of our listeners, if you're already listening to us, you know how the internet works. I'm sorry to do this, but we've got to have new subscribers, blah, 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 all the things. Please subscribe to us on Apple and Spotify. While you're there, if you could drop us a 5-star review, that would help other people discover our show. And if you're on YouTube, hit subscribe there, please. You can turn the little bell on for notifications when our new videos drop. All right, Mads, let's talk characters. We've been doing this in our 3 episodes that have been reviewing this season. I have been going in a particular order, but I'm going to rearrange that order specifically for this episode because I think we have to start with Devon. I think we have to start with her character development off the top. You didn't like that very much because this is the Maul show, but I really feel like episodes 9 and 10 were about Devon's choice. So, character development-wise from Devon, what did you see from her? What was it that drew you to her in these episodes?
She freaking finally snapped, and finally, after putting it off for so long, finally gave in. It was like, yeah, okay, sure. Although I do really wish that she went over and cried with Riley, honestly, because that would have just.
You were shipping that, weren't you?
I was shipping that so hard, and it
Now,
never
should
happened.
Riley date evil, Devon?
I think that puts like a little more edge to it.
The Apprentice of Darth Maul. What do you want?
Yeah, I still ship. I still ship.
All right. I think that Devon's choice has, we'll see if you agree, shades of Anakin again here. And maybe this is just the Star Wars thing, right? And it's interesting that Star Wars kind of like repackages the same set of choices and the same choice architecture over and over again. Because here's the parallels to me between Anakin and Devon. Anakin joins the dark side because he is scared to lose a loved one. So it is like the feelings he has about a loved one that turns him. And then Devon actually loses a loved one to Darth Vader himself. And that's what it is in her that really gets that anger, that fear, that anger, right? And it like really drives her towards the dark side. And so I think they do just such a good job with this in terms of like making us care about the characters, but not just that, making the characters care about each other. Because I know Daki's the master and Devon is the Padawan, but it's very clear that like, you know, Devon looks to Daki as a father. There's a real connection there. They survived through all this stuff. So I really think they did a good job setting that up. And if you're the audience and you're in Devon's shoes, you totally get why she snaps, to your point.
Yeah. I mean, I would have done the same. Like
if that was me?
Yeah.
If Darth had gotten me?
Yeah. I would have just been like,
I don't want you to go to the dark side. I just want you to know that.
Okay, well, too bad.
Here's the thing, though. We've already talked about this. We need this resolution. We are going to have to know what Devon did because I don't feel like they can just. I don't feel like they can just leave it there.
They
like
can't
that.
end the show with just okay, I'm ready. Like, what happened to her? Why is she not in later movies? Why is she not there when Maul just gets absolutely chopped by Obi-Wan in Rebels? Like, what's going on?
That can't be good for her. That she's not there. That cannot be good.
Something tells me she's not gonna make it.
Yeah. Do you like the fact that Star Wars seems to kind of like repackage the same? There's a good guy who has bad feelings. You're not supposed to give in to your bad feelings. We see that, you know, on repeat over and over and over again. And they give us different characters and they're different flavors and there's different reasons. But ultimately, I feel like that's the heart of Star Wars is choosing the good path or the bad path. Are you okay that we just saw that again, right?
Yeah, that just feels like Star Wars. Like there's like a specific storyline that Star Wars is, and like that's essentially what it is.
Right. So it's about, I was going to say human choice. Obviously, some of these species that we're talking about are not human. But for all intents and purposes, yes, Devon is a sentient being that is extremely human-like. She just got some extra stuff going out of her head. She's got some head tails, as we all do from time to time. But I just think that's, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Taco Bell menu. Taco Bell will just repeatedly repackage the same ingredients in a slightly different setting, and they'll call it something different. And guess what? You'll fall in love with it every time. So I know that you and I joke all the time that Star Wars fans seem to hate Star Wars. But I love this stuff. I loved watching Devon. I loved this choice. I love like putting myself in her shoes. Like, what would I do if I was in her situation? She's in a really bad situation there.
Yeah.
So let's move this to Maul, since the show is about him. Character development wise, you know, the character on the arc, what did you see from Maul in these last 2 episodes that you liked?
The fact that he was basically arguing with Daki over Devon, like whenever they were like arguing back and forth like how to fight Vader, I was just like, he really, really wants this apprentice, like really bad. And he's willing to fight up against freaking Uncle Daki over here to get this apprentice.
Not just Uncle Daki, Green Gas Maruk and the 11th Bro and Vader himself. Like that, this thing is so important to him, which again leads us to hashtag make Maul season 2 happen. We also need to see this from Maul's perspective. What does he have planned for Devon? Yeah, I thought that Maul was obviously the big winner of this episode, and I wrote down a little list of reasons why I think he was the big winner. So, number 1, Maul now has fewer mouths to feed. So all his dudes got smoked.
All of them cooked.
And like, he kind of seemed like he was upset about it for like 0.003 seconds, and then he was like, yeah, on to the next one. So his his payroll got slackened, and he's made this, he's cut this deal with Dryden Boss. Obviously, number 2 is he's got this apprentice. But number 3, I think Maul just comes out of the show looking like this complex, interesting, like deep character that we don't often see in Star Wars. A lot of times you get, and I think this is a criticism that may be fair from certain people, you get like the Jedi are these flat characters that, because they can't have attachments, because they can't feel things, like it makes it hard to get in their shoes.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can with like Obi-Wan, say, but some of these other ones, it's just like they're there to be like the moral police of everybody, and that's not always the most fun thing to watch. But I think Maul comes out as a complex character. He's upset because Sidious hurt his family. He probably has some plans for Devon that are not real good for Devon. So it's like he's got two things all over the place, and I just think he comes out, again, looking at like this interesting winner of a character.
Yeah.
All right, give us your thoughts on Daki. What did you see character development-wise? What'd you like? What'd you not like?
He just had absolutely no change. He's just still the same exact character. Rest in peace to a legend, honestly. Just
rest in peace to 11.
I said
not 11, a legend. Sorry, yeah, a legend. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just absolutely cooked.
By Vader?
Yeah.
How far
Absolutely
into
cooked.
that fight did you know that was going to be the outcome?
I knew from whenever they were having the fight in like the big room over the acid, I was like, ooh, he's not making it out. I thought he was gonna die in there, and then he didn't. And I was like, okay, this next fight that's coming up, that's where he's
going
going
all
out.
the way to episode 10, though. Bro was there at the end.
Proud of him for that, but yeah, I think we all knew he was cooked.
This is my Daki's arc, Daki's story, his plot is the only problem I have with the show at all. And it is what I just described to you a second ago. To me, and maybe people disagree, and if you disagree, comment on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, let us know. I feel like Daki just was a flat character.
Yeah.
They gave him the coolest voice that he could possibly have. Amazing, incredible voice. But it was just like, he's there to question Maul's connection to Devon. And there's no sense from Daki that, like, I understand what Devon's going through. I understand she's upset. I understand she's worried. There's none of that. There's just like, no, you shouldn't do that. No, don't give in to your fear. And so you're right. He doesn't change at all. He doesn't get to, ultimately, he doesn't really get to make any decisions at all. He's kind of forced into this partnership with Maul. He's forced to fight. He's forced to protect certain people that he probably honestly doesn't really care that much about protecting. And so, again, he's just like this flat foil of a character, and no wonder Devon chose Maul, because Daki is just there saying the same thing repeatedly over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Do you think that is the problem with the Jedi, or do you think that is something specific to the way these writers wrote about Daki? They just didn't give Daki enough.
I think that's just like an overall problem with all the Jedi. They're just like, no, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. You have to be like very specific in your lifestyle. And that's just how all the Jedi are. And every single time like they're teaching their Padawans, they just teach them the same things over and over and over. And I think it's just like not necessarily like a problem, but kind of a problem, because the Padawans like near the end of the war, the Padawans don't really get much time with the Jedi, because they just like the Jedi Order's just gone. So they don't really know where they stand with everything, because the Jedi were just teaching them like one specific thing without having any room for if you have these feelings, it's okay. We're just going to teach you how to get rid of that. Like, they don't teach that at all. They're just like, if you feel this, that's bad.
But ultimately, isn't Daki right? Like Daki said, you can't give in to the fear. You have to stay apart from it. That like lack of attachment. So what happens is Daki dies, and we all called it from the first second we saw Daki on the screen. Daki dies, Devon gets angry, and now we like Maul. We think he's an interesting character.
Yeah.
But ultimately what Devon has done has joined up with a weird combo Sith, like mechanical crime boss bad guy, and there is no way that's going to be good for Devon's arc or her character or anything like that. So like my point is ultimately Daki's right. What he wants Devon to do, the way that he wants Devon to live is the right way to live. It's just like I feel like sometimes the writers are more interested in Maul and they're just not as interested in Daki versus like say in Obi-Wan with Anakin. You love the prequels. I
Yeah.
don't think that we think that Obi-Wan is this flat character. I think that Obi-Wan and Anakin go back and forth. Sometimes Obi-Wan doesn't know what to do. Sometimes Obi-Wan gets frustrated with Anakin, right? I just wish they had done more with Daki because I think there's a way to do it where the choice is more compelling and it's not just like, well, yeah, Maul's so cool, let's go with him, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean.
So what is it what is it about Obi-Wan to you that is not like Daki? Or do you think Obi-Wan is like that flat, nope, I'm just here to say, no, you shouldn't do that, no, you shouldn't be that. What is the difference to you?
I think it's just the way Obi-Wan like goes about his teaching, because he's a little more understanding with Anakin and his feelings, while Daki is just like, no, you can't do this.
Right. And I wonder too, maybe some of that is just screen time. We get so
Yeah,
much more time with
probably.
Obi-Wan. We know so much more about him than we do Daki. But I really feel like the only thing to me in this whole show that I felt like was like a little flat and didn't quite get there for me was this Daki stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so his arc at the end, when it resolved, it wasn't even like that satisfying. Yeah, Darth killed him and she got real angry about it, but I didn't feel angry about it in the way that Devon felt angry about it.
Yeah.
And it would have been nice if I'd formed an attachment to Daki like Devon clearly did. It just would have been nice for me as an audience member to kind of feel that moment more. Now, the next person we're going to talk about, I did feel their decision quite a bit. So can you give me your character arc stuff for Captain Lawson?
I did like, well, okay, I didn't like the fact that he
You
sacrificed
like that he
himself.
died.
I'm not saying that. But I like that he made the decision to protect his son at all costs. Like, no matter what happened, even if it did mean that he would die. I did like that about him.
Did you find that death to be more impactful than Daki's death?
Yeah.
Why?
I just feel like Lawson just has, like, more to his character than Daki has. Like, Lawson, like, he has a son, and we know that his ex-wife was in the Empire, and he has this relationship with Two Boots, or No Boots. And Daki, really all that he has, like, the only relationship he has is being Devon's master. So I feel like if, like you said, if Daki had more screen time and he had more to his character, his death would have impacted the audience more.
I think that I think that Lawson's death, like you did, I think it paid off. I felt that moment. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, like I'm doing this with you, I'm watching this with you. So any kind of like father-child moment in a show, I'm obviously going to connect with that and understand that because, I think of our relationship. But I do think all that stuff that you mentioned, like Lawson's supposed to be focused on his son playing the whatever Janik's version of baseball is or whatever their lacrosse, whatever that sport is that they're playing. But he shows up, but he can't stay because he's too busy with work and he's struggling with work and he's struggling with his relationship. And so they just did a better job of painting like this broken, cracked guy that just couldn't pull everything together. And then finally, in the moment when he needed to pull it together to save his son, he did. And I just feel like that moment paid off so much more than Daki's death. It's not that I didn't like Daki. It's just I don't feel like they gave Daki enough to have that same kind of pull.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that Lawson does that's good is Lawson is going to live on in Two Boots, a.k.a. No Boots, right? Like Two Boots had the type of loyalty to Lawson where he's going to say, yes, I will take care of Riley. I will be there with Riley. And what does Devon have? Devon's got nothing. Devon just has Maul left, and that's a much worse place to be left.
Yeah. Honorable
Anything
mention.
else you want to say about Lawson, Riley? Yeah, go ahead.
No, but I was gonna talk about the moment that Two Boots just started like going back to his police droid form whenever he was talking about the acid being illegally
I must
disposed
report
of.
this immediately.
Illegally disposed of. I must report this immediately. Of course, that's not the biggest thing at hand. Sorry, guys. That was
They do a good job with the droid humor. Is good when they add that in. I do appreciate that.
Slipped in the humor in like one of the most high stress moments, and it was great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I also think that Dave Filoni, I think he does a good job with the stuff that he does, obviously, but I think he understands. Like George Lucas, there's this famous quote that George Lucas says, "It's like Star Wars is for kids." And it is for kids. And I'm an adult and I still watch it. And there are tons of adults everywhere that watch it. But I think that Dave Filoni does a good job at remembering this is for kids. It's supposed to be for you. It's supposed to be for your sister. And like these stories are built for that and made for that. And so the fact that like Devon is the age she is and Riley is the age he is, I think that's what that's supposed to be about. Even a show like Skeleton Crew, which wasn't reviewed very well, I really liked it. Like you didn't, which is hilarious because I think it was supposed to be built for like the kid thing, but I enjoyed it. I liked the kind of wonder and the special sort of stuff.
He does do that, and then he also goes out of his way to kill some of the best characters in the most tragic ways possible. It's like, oh, okay. Guess I'll just go cry in a corner. No, Dave Filoni. It's just like,
oh, Dave.
Oh,
tick.
Oh, I think I cried watching that. So bad.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Do you want to take a minute here before we go to theme? Do you want to talk about your reaction to the spy bot cut in half?
Oh, I was so sad about that. Because it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're just going to kill Spybot like that and have his last words be like, I don't even remember what he said. He was like, Faster, no. It's like, what?
They did kind of have him look at Maul in just a shocked look of like, oh, they got me. What?
It was
and then
just
he
like
dropped into the acid. Like, okay, well, that's it.
Yeah, that was so sad.
Also,
like,
Icarus flew too close to the acid. You know,
he did fly too close to the acid. He got shot like 4 times and then just like pulled the bunch of stormtroopers in there. It's like, well, okay.
Hey, he went out like a champ. You know.
Yep.
He went out like a champion. Champ. Okay, let's move to theme. And this is where you have been, if I can just say this, you have been especially good in these episodes, pulling out these themes and talking about them. So, no pressure. But give us your first theme that you... Now, this could be from the whole season, really, or however you took it, just from episodes 9 and 10.
I think really the whole show, or at least the whole season, is just focused around fear. Because, like, the obvious fear on all of their faces whenever the Inquisitors just, like, jumped them, they're all just like, oh. And Maul telling Devon and Daki that they had to, like, tap into their fear and rage if they wanted to fight Vader. So, like, this whole show is just, like, based on fear, and the fear that Maul has been carrying his whole life, and the fear in, like, the fear in the Lawsons because their life is just completely over now. The fear in the Jedi because they've never seen anything like the Inquisitors before. So they just do, like, a really good job of pretty much basing this show just, like, on the fear that is in all of the characters.
Yeah, I love that you said that. I kind of took that in a different direction, but they're related. I think that, to me, the central theme of this entire show is choice, right? And that's what it's all about. Humans make choices, Twi'lek make choices, Zabrakis make choices, and the way that they set up these choices for these characters, with the exception of Daki, was endlessly interesting and fascinating to me. Like, Maul has to have a choice. He could have probably just gotten off that planet without Devon with really no problems. I do think it helped him to have Lawson kind of like show him the way.
Yeah.
But Maul chose. Maul chose to stay and fight. Maul chose to fight side by side with Daki against the Inquisitors, you know, before and after Vader shows up. And then Maul fought Vader straight up and got hit a couple times. Those are all choices that he made. Obviously, Devon with the huge choice. Captain Lawson with the choice. this is the thing that frustrated me again, is I think all these characters are making big choices and we're being rewarded with their backstory for when they make the choice, and then Daki doesn't get to make a choice. Daki is just like a piece of the background setting that has to be there for Devon's choice. I
Yeah.
just wish they had done that. But I do think overall, I think they put people in interesting positions to make interesting choices, because if you're like Daki, Devon, and Lawson, what are you going to do? You're going to team up with Maul or not? Well, it's probably not going to go well if you don't team up with them.
Yeah.
And then while they're walking through the little tunnels, Lawson is like, yeah, these guys are going to stab us in the back as soon as they can, so be ready. So it's like, that's a tough choice to make. And so I just really think all together and all around, they did a good job with choice.
Yeah.
Madeline, give me a second theme that you saw from these last couple episodes.
I actually don't have a second theme. It was just the one.
I do. So let me tell you this one, and you tell me what you think about it. This, mine that I pointed out was survival. And this was the whole thing about why Maul tried to team up in the first place. And just as kind of like a quick little side road, I did find it interesting that they pointed out that Maul did not know who Vader was.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, I was like, oh, you know what? He really doesn't know. And Maul was like, what are you?
Yeah.
And that was just kind of an interesting thing there, but the way that they framed Vader, and Vader is just taking these one arm, just hacks at everybody. And those are like some of the best kind of, like all you have to do is all you can do is just like survive those things, because Vader is just this unstoppable force. And so Maul, again, kind of comes out ahead, and that's truly what he is. He's a survivor. He'll build himself the spider legs. He'll do what he has to do. He'll take on Crimson Dawn, right? He will do these things because he is driven by the fear, the anger, the abuse, the hatred, and so he's doing it all to survive. Do you think did you see survival anywhere else with anybody?
I mean, just the fact that the Lawsons and the Jedi were just like running around with Maul just so they could survive and get off the planet. Definitely.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing was also kind of, it's like there were triple engines, fear and choice and survival, all kind of like powered the show. And those are really good themes to hit on, because like everybody has fear and everybody has to make choices and everybody's got that survival feeling sometimes. So I think they did a good job of putting the audience in with the characters.
Yeah.
Okay, Madeline, what was your favorite action set piece of the last 2 episodes?
I mean, obviously the 3v3 with Vader and the Inquisitors versus Maul and the Jedi. Specifically, though, specifically, it's just a moment I found oddly funny. Whenever Maul and Daki were walking through the temple ruins, I assume that was a temple. They were walking through that, and they were like arguing a little bit. And it just all of a sudden goes quiet, and then Vader just like pops out of nowhere and like jump scares them. I just found that oddly funny.
I was literally going to say, though, they did such a good job of using Vader as a tool of terror.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even like Vader the person. It wasn't Anakin, because he never talked. He never said a word. He is just this uncompromising mass of dark energy that is there to destroy you. And they did such a good job, and I'm glad they put it in the in that kind of temple ruin thing, because it's real easy to like go behind a pillar, and Maul was like pulling stuff down from the ceiling, so it would like give a break from the action and let them kind of talk. So I thought that the setting worked really well for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And obviously that was my favorite set piece too. Although I did like the acid scene.
Yeah,
although I was
like that
frustrated at how long. Like you have to put these obstacles in the way to make this fight make sense, because otherwise they're just going to keep running. But if you have like this huge vat of acid, so I think they've really done a pretty good job with all the set pieces in this show.
Yeah, they've just done a really good job, like writing it all and making it all like where you're sitting on like the edge of your seat the entire time, like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Because that's honestly how I felt the whole time.
Yeah, it was really very propulsive. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe putting you on the spot here, but to wind this episode down, I need to know your 2 favorite moments of the entire season, the whole season. So give me one.
Well, obviously we gotta go with Maul and Devon's philosophical tea party. That was just absolutely iconic moment. Whenever I was rewatching the show with my sister and it got to that scene, she just like looks at me and is like, why are they just having a tea party right here? It's just an absolutely iconic scene and it's great. It's great.
We love an educated villain.
We
You know,
love
we
that.
love a Thrawn.
Yeah.
We love a Maul.
Yeah.
All those types of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that is interesting that of all this action that we just praised, you picked one of those quiet moments.
Yeah.
And the more I watch TV, the more that, like, I love the action set pieces. I really enjoy that. But I really love the character moments that are more quiet in between. I think that's what really drives shows to me. So I was going to pick my single favorite moment of the entire season was the Maul breakdown. And I liked it. I liked how they did it. I liked how it had like the horror movie vibes again. I liked that we dropped some lore about Maul in a way that didn't feel like they were dropping lore on you. You know, you were just kind of in that moment. You're like, oh my gosh, that's what Darth did. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I really like that. Can you pick out one more of your favorite of the whole season?
I'm kind of stuck between the sewer fight over the acid or once again the 3v3. Just like the way they did it and it just like all came together was just peak cinema right there. Like it was great.
I think I would take I agree with you, but I think I would take the 3v3 just because of the way that they used and deployed Vader.
Yeah.
Was really effective, really good, like really heightened the moment because all of us as the audience, we know how powerful Vader is.
Oh, yeah.
Even if they don't know who he is or what he is and they don't understand, like, whoa, this guy's on a whole other level. You know, but the fact that they really held themselves together and like Daki force shoved Green Gas Maruk off the side of the cliff before Daki got big antied. And Devon did pretty well. You know, Devon was in those stairs just getting hammered by the one-handed Vader strikes, and she was kind of defending them and fighting them off. So those are my two favorite, the Maul breakdown and the 3v3 versus the end.
Yeah, and unless I was misinterpreting that scene, I'm pretty sure Maul like force shoved Daki into Vader, which ultimately got him cooked. When I saw that, I was like, oh, did he actually just do that, or am I just seeing things?
I mean, if that were the case, that's a very Maul thing to do, though, right? That's like part of the little plan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. We love him anyway.
The dark side. Okay, you graded me off the top. So let's grade this show, this season of TV, at the end here. You want to give it a letter grade?
The first half, maybe a B, but the last half was definitely an A.
Okay. I'm going to give it an A- overall. And again, my only complaint about the whole thing is just that the Daki stuff just didn't quite hit all the way for me.
Yeah.
But everything else really hit big time. Did it bother you that they brought Vader in? Because you know how this will happen sometimes. Star Wars fans will complain about the fact that, oh, Luke Skywalker showed up or whatever. Did that bother you that Vader showed up?
No. I thought it added a really good like terror aspect to it where they're all just like, what is, like, who is this guy? And us as an audience, like, we know, like, that's Darth Vader and they're about to just get absolutely pounded into the ground. So yeah, I do like the fact that they added Vader.
I agree. I think that they should have used him. I think they deployed him well, and I think that was a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, Mads, anything else you want to say to our listeners before we wrap this thing up? All right. You heard it here. Maul, A-, A, B. We love the show. Hope that they make season 2. Hope that you enjoyed our coverage of Maul. We will be continuing this weekly. We haven't fully decided. We are going to cover the Mandalorian and Grogu film that is coming out a little bit later this month. So we haven't decided quite what we're going to do in the next week or so before that movie. But then after that, we'll be going back and covering the movies one by one, going through some of the TV shows season by season. So we're really looking forward to that. Really appreciate everybody jumping on board with us. Share this with your friends if you can. You know how that word of mouth does so well for people. But that is going to bring this transmission to an end. Thanks for hanging out with us in the far reaches of the galaxy. If you enjoyed our take on Shadow Lord, be sure to subscribe and join us for our next jump through hyperspace. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon, and may the Force be with you.